us today are two gentlemen who contributed greatly to the legend that is Hollywood. Celebrated as an actor and musician, one of our guests is equally well known for his long-term marriage to America's sweetheart. Our other guest was one of the industry's top agents. His roster of clients included many of screendom's most famous personalities. These two, respectively, are Charles Buddy Rogers and John Moschio. And now, here's your man of the half hour, Skippy Lowe.
Well, congratulations.
Well, Skip it.
And you got the award. A wonderful, wonderful
Thank you.
Buddy Rogers. Congratulations. You know something? You look absolutely wonderful.
How could I?
Now, what's your secret? Buddy Rogers, what is your secret?
My secret is God and luck. Those two. God and lots of luck.
Hey, that's a good secret. I like that. But may I say something to you? Buddy Rogers, Kansas, is that where you're from?
I'm corny from Kansas. Yes, that's what you're going to say.
No, you're not as corny.
I'm from Kansas.
But when did Buddy Rogers arrive to Hollywood? Let's start real quick.
I grew up in a little town called Olathe, Kansas. Population 3,000. My father had a newspaper, weekly newspaper, and I helped print it. I helped set the type. I helped deliver it. I did everything because when I was going away to the university, I was taking journalism.
Right.
So I hope to come back to Olathe, Kansas, and be with my dad. Of course, I loved music more than I did journalism. Although I was taking journalism at the University of Kansas, I had my little trombone, I had my saxophone, I had my drums.
Ah, that's right.
And on Friday night, I was making $10. Saturday night, $15. Skip, I was making $25 a week. I had a Model T Ford, a raccoon coat, 3 girls.
How many instruments does Buddy Rogers play?
I don't play any of them well.
Oh, you do too. You play them all well. First came to Hollywood. Wings won the first Academy Award. What a wonderful motion picture. Wings.
That's right.
That wasn't your first picture, though.
No.
It was the first picture.
When I was at the university, can I go back?
Yes, of course.
When I was at the University of Kansas, my dad wrote me a letter from Olathe and says, honey, he says, Paramount are looking for 10 boys and 10 girls from throughout all the universities in the United States for a school of acting. And he says, will you try it? They're coming through the university. I wrote back, said, no, Dad, I'm living in a fraternity with basketball and football players. And I said, no, Dad. He wrote me again, and I'm sure he got tear stains, and he says, please do it for me. I did it for Dad. Knew I didn't have a chance, knew I didn't know how to act, knew I wanted music. I made the test, and the test is very difficult. I'm in front of a live camera now, and they say, cry, laugh.
These are silent movies now.
Dance. We don't have a voice. And I made the school. I went back to New York, met the 10 girls and the 9 boys. We went to the Paramount studio, and we were in a school of acting. Now, we had no voices that time, so we had to act with our eyes, with our arms.
That was very important, wasn't it, those days? When you
had no voice. We had no voice.
Right.
So I remember they teach us how to roll down the stairs without hurting ourselves. They teach us how to put on false beards. But the one I liked the best in school, they taught us how to hold a kiss 3 minutes without laughing. Now, I rather like that.
How's that happen? How do you handle that?
I didn't pass it.
Tell me something. First film, Buddy, W.C. Fields. That's it.
This is interesting.
Is that right?
I was in the school, Skip, and Mr. Lasky said to me, Buddy, do you have argyles, knickers, and socks? I said, well, that's all I wore at the University of Kansas. He says, please wear them tomorrow. I said, fine. I wore them the next day. 10 o'clock, the school door knocked. They pulled me out, put me in a limousine. They took me way out on Long Island, and I saw when we got there, we're approaching a golf course. I could see cameras, I could see action and people, and they took me out of the car, and they took me over and said, Buddy, here's your father, W.C. Fields. You're going to play his son in this movie.
Wonderful movie.
I had no idea.
Yeah. What was it called?
Called So's Your Old Man.
So you're... Did you ever work with Mae West?
No.
Buddy? Never?
Wanted to. Cary Grant always got the part.
Yeah. Tell me something. Working with W.C. Fields, first movie. How was it?
Well, he was funny. He was funny.
Did he really hate kids, like people say? No, he loved children.
He was a pixie. He was pixelated. He was cute. He was charming. He was sweet.
What made that word get around that he hated kids? Was that just
publicity? You know how they blow up publicity.
Mary, tell me, how did she come into your life? Lovely Mary Perkins.
Yeah. I had finished Wings.
Right.
And Hope Loring, who did the adaptation of Wings, a woman writer, She said to me one day at Paramount, says, "Buddy, what are you going to do tomorrow afternoon, right after lunch?" I said, "Nothing." She said, "You meet me in front of Paramount, and I want to take you someplace."
Right.
She drove me over to another studio, one that I'd never seen before, a big, magnificent place. We pulled up to a big bungalow there, and she stopped and says, "Buddy, will you, I'm going to park the car. You get out and ring the bell."
Right.
Well, I got out, rang the bell. Mary Pickford opened the door. And that was the first time.
Was that the first love, Mary Pickford? First time you saw her?
I would think so.
Because you were married
I
from
might have popped it up.
1939 on, Mary Pickford. 1939, that's a
36,
long...
36.
36? God, that's a long time.
No.
How was she to live with, buddy? In all those
Marvelous.
wonderful years.
She was a magnificent woman. Magnificent.
Living in Mary Pickford's house all those years. Tell me about
43 years,
Pickford.
anyway.
43? And you sold it.
Yes.
Miss it?
I sold it to Jerry Buss 4 years
Right.
ago.
The Lakers man, isn't it?
The Lakers. A nice man, the Lakers. And I hope they win the series.
But why did you sell that house?
Well, it was too large for me to stay in. Mary and I talked many times before she went on to heaven. I said, "Darling, I don't want to stay in this big place." I said, "Why don't I take an acre or so and build a house here on the property, a small one?" And she said she thought that was a good idea.
Betty Rogers, you keep yourself very, very busy in Hollywood. You're always out every night, going to parties.
No.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I see you
I'm a
everywhere.
homebody. Well, why are you out every night?
Tell me, what do you mean a homebody? You're home a lot, you say?
I think so.
Really? You live in Palm Springs, too? You have a house
I
in
have a
Palm
little
Springs?
house in Palm Springs.
But you stay in Hollywood a lot.
I just live both places.
You love Hollywood.
I'm breathing in and out in
The
Hollywood.
gentleman next to you is John Moschio. John. It is correct, John Moschio.
Moschio.
Moschio Galliano, Moschio.
In Italian would be maschio. It means the male gender. You're a male, you're
Right.
a maschio.
Moschio.
But here it's Moschio.
Moschio. Where are you from, John, originally?
Originally, I was born in Illinois, but I was taken to Italy when I was 12, when I was 2, and I lived there until I was 12. Lived in Milano, Torino,
See.
then came directly to California.
Married to a wonderful lady, just like you were.
Fantastic.
Wonderful lady, Miss Constance Moore. Marvelous actress.
Beautiful person.
Wonderful. You've been married a long time to her.
40-some years.
Same as you two gentlemen, real old men of Hollywood. You came to Hollywood, John, and become one of the biggest agents here in Hollywood. You discovered a lot of stars. I mean, going down even from Marilyn Monroe. Let's say Marilyn Monroe. Let's get back there.
Well, let's go to Paulette Goddard and Gene Tierney and
Listen to it.
Listen.
Go ahead, John.
Go ahead.
And I brought Gene Kelly, Van Johnson, June Havoc here, all from one show, Pal Joey. I brought Joe Cotton here.
Joseph Cotton.
I brought Greg Peck here. I brought more people here than anyone in the whole country.
You were called a theatrical agent or a manager?
Manager.
Manager. So you were a personal manager of all these stars.
An agent.
And can you be an agent and a manager at the same time? Those days you
Well, in
could.
those days you could, but since then the personal managers have become much more important.
I see.
The agent's job was to get a star or an actor or an actress a job. Personal manager usually takes care of the money.
I see. Polly Carter. Cecil B. DeMille. The Unconquered. Was it The Unconquered? Did you get her that part? The Unconquered with Gary Cooper? That was a wonderful film. Wasn't she in that?
Who are you talking about now? You lost me.
Claudette Goddard and Gary Cooper. The Unconquered.
The Unconquered.
Well, it doesn't
I didn't
matter.
know.
Who's some of the big stars? Go ahead.
I introduced Paulette Goddard to Charlie Chaplin.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
Wound up there getting married, of course. That was on a yachting party we had with Joe Skink. But I think that
Joe Skink is this. He's the one who's responsible for Marilyn Monroe, isn't
he
he?
was certainly a great deal responsible for Marilyn Monroe.
How was he a
But-
great deal responsible for her? Everyone talks about Joe with her. Like,
Well, you're not confusing Joe Skink with Johnny Hyde.
no,
Yeah.
no. Go ahead.
Because Johnny Hyde is taking the credit for having really made Marilyn
Right.
Monroe. He also says he put her into Asphalt Jungle. I put her into Asphalt Jungle, not Johnny Hyde. I think Johnny Hyde was in the hospital at that time. And as a matter of fact, I was at Metro going there,
Right.
about to see John Huston about Asphalt Jungle for a girl that I had under contract there called Pat Williams. Pat Williams had been in Ken Murray's Blackouts along with Marilyn Monroe, and every time they came to a meeting between them, Pat Williams won out. She was more beautiful. She was absolutely sensational looking. She was under contract to Metro.
Right.
So the assistant director came by and said, "Are you going to see John Huston?" I said, "Yes." Stop in and see him at the office. Stopped in. Said, "John, you're going to see John Huston about Pat Williams. She's under contract here.
Right.
Huston has to put her in the picture." I said, "Marilyn Monroe just left here. She's flat broke. She's living with a girlfriend. I loaned her $5 for gasoline, and she's coming back. Let me take Monroe in to see John Huston."
Right.
Because Pat's making $750 a week. She doesn't need the money, and Marilyn is absolutely starving. So I said, "Go ahead and do it."
That was with the...
Asphalt Jungle.
Right, it was our first film.
That's the thing that really started her.
That really started her.
Sure. From then on, she never stopped.
What made her the magic of films? I mean, there were a lot of stars like Jean Harlow, lots of great movie stars. But today, Marilyn Monroe's picture is everywhere. This is 1988. You know, at the beginning of her career, she wasn't that hot. Am I right?
No, she wasn't, but she survived where a lot of them didn't.
Didn't survive. What made her survive, John? What makes
The charisma, a magic about this girl. She was fantastic.
You saw that charisma?
Yeah.
You're an agent, manager. When you look for something...
She had it.
Go ahead.
She really had it. It's not just beauty. You have to have something more than that, and she had it.
What's that extra something when you see it, when you're looking at something, or do you see it on screen or something? What makes a man like you responsible for all these big stars?
I tell you, you go to New York and you look at a show, and there are half a dozen people in it, and you'll spot one person. Now, Van Johnson, for example, was in the same show with Gene Kelly.
Right.
And I went to see the show with Ginger Rogers, and she said, "I want to sign that tall, good-looking boy." He came out and did one bit with June Havoc, a little dance bit.
Yes.
But Gene Kelly was the star. Well, I went backstage. He was dressing on the third floor with the extras, brought him down. I said, "Come to the office." We already had signed Gene Kelly, so we signed Gene Kelly, Van Johnson, and June Havoc, all out of one show.
All of it. Your wife, what is she doing nowadays? Constance Moore. What a great actress she was. God, she did some great movies. She did a movie called Wings, too. What was that? Her first, what was the Wings thing she did? Constance Moore did a movie called Wings also. I can't remember it, but
I can't either.
it was a good movie. You don't remember it?
No.
It was a good, very, very good. What is Buddy Rogers?
Good husband, if you don't remember every film.
But she's done a lot of films.
Oh, my God, she's done around 60 films.
Who are some of the most exciting women that came through your life besides Marilyn Monroe, John, that you have?
Paulette Goddard, Gene Tierney.
Gene Tierney. You got her Laura.
Yeah.
Tell me about Laura. That was a great film, Laura. How did that all come about?
Gene Tierney had a baby. She was married to Ole Cassini. I introduced them, by the way.
Right.
And she hadn't worked for a year. I gave her the script to Laura, and she called me up and said, "This is the worst thing I ever read. Clifton Webb's the star. He's the big thing. And so I haven't worked in a year. It's my first picture after my baby, and I just don't want to do this thing." So Darryl Zanuck, I said, we bring her over to the studio. I sat in the room with Darryl Zanuck, Otto Preminger, who was directed, and Lou Schreiber, who was the casting boy.
Right.
And Gene is sitting there crying, and Otto was pacing the floor and said, "But Gene, you know, they talk about you all the time, and when you come on the screen, you're important." "Well, I don't care, I don't like it." And finally, Preminger looked at me and said, "Did you read the script?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "What'd you think of it?" I said, "I think she ought to do it." Well, it was a wail that came out of Gene Tierney's mouth. Her own agent turning against her.
Right.
But even to this day, it's the best picture she ever did.
It is. It is one of the
The only
best.
thing you remember about Gene Tierney.
Now, Laura, Razor's Edge, too, another great film. They were all great cast in Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
That was a great cast, even John Payne, all of them.
Everyone was good.
20th Century Fox did great movies those days, didn't
Oh,
they?
wonderful.
Was that the
Zanuck-
biggest? Go ahead.
Zanuck was great.
What made Zanuck great those days?
The pictures he made.
What else?
Is that it?
He was a producer.
Was he?
He was a producer. I
Well-
never had the chance to work with him.
How about Columbia? that one up the Columbia head. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Cohen, Mr. Cohen.
Harry Cohen.
Tell me about him. I left you two gentlemen talk.
you
Go
talk
ahead,
about
buddy.
Well, you know,
I didn't work for him.
You didn't?
he was the worst so-and-so in the whole business. Everyone hated him, but you know,
He was a
he
tough
had taste.
taste.
He had taste.
Okay.
And he bought good scripts, and he bought good people, and he was smart enough to do that. And then he just let him alone. And he had a great guy in Frank Capra. You know, Capra, you put Capra, Gable, and Claudette Colbert together, and you know, you've got a sensational picture.
What a great guy he was.
Oh,
Frank. He
fantastic.
makes great movies, this man.
Capra was, to me, the top director of the industry. Of all
Johnny, I'm
time.
glad to be with you. We're neighbors,
Yes.
we've known each other a long time, and I'm learning so many things about you today, John. This is great.
Well, he knows, you two both know Hollywood. That's all I know. I can say that.
We've been around long enough. We should.
About the kids today in Hollywood, what's happening with the films today, you two gentlemen? I must ask you, what's happening?
I'm not sure that I understand the films
Well-
today. They're different than we made them in the 30s and in the 40s.
Right? Go
Different style. It's a boom, boom, boom. It's a love, love, love. It's a boom, boom.
Violence and sex and all, yes, yes.
It's
It's
all
not
different
so
things.
fast. But you know something, we did have shooting and Indians and shooting with cowboys, but it was a fantasize. It was not I don't know, it was wonderful then. It was just a... it
Take
was-
a look at Stagecoach. It was John
Tell me,
Ford.
right.
What a wonderful Western with all the shooting and
Shooting and
What a
everything.
Great, great picture.
Am I correct?
Just terrific.
And no one made complaints about young boys getting guns and shooting Indians and all that. We used to have guns and shooting Indians on the streets. It was wonderful.
That's right.
But people are complaining about it today, of rambles and all that.
That's true.
It's the scripts, is that the scripts, gentlemen? What?
It's maybe lack of censorship. I don't know what's going on today. It seems like they kill too many. It seems like they get involved in bed too quick. It seems like there are too many automobiles. Johnny just seems a little bit different to me.
I turn them off. I don't look at them.
Don't you think we should go to movies and fantasize a little more than reality? That we have too much reality in film today? I think it's too much reality. Don't you think? What do
You know, I think
don't
Mary,
know.
maybe Mary was,
Beyond reality, I think they're fantasizing.
maybe my Mary was a little bit too goody-goody. She wouldn't allow her leading man even to kiss her in the film.
She never had a man kiss her? Never?
Any of her films. No.
How many did she do? She'd made a lot of films.
Many, 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 many.
Tell me, how many films have you done, buddy? You watched all your, you still have
53, 53.
53
I can't believe it.
films. Good God.
Yeah.
St. Jude, you help a lot of people, Buddy Rogers. Come on.
Well, I want to.
Out there,
A
busy.
lot of people help me, and I want to.
You're out there helping people all the time. A lot of people don't know that Buddy Rogers is constantly helping others in this
I've
this
been
town.
helped so much. I want to try to give back. I've been so lucky in my life and in my years out here that I want to say I appreciate it, and I want everybody to know that I appreciate their love. I appreciate it.
Constance Moore, she's not doing anything at all nowadays? Just being a lovely wife?
That's all she
That's
wants to do. She doesn't want to do anything else.
Just,
She's had chances to go back to New York on the stage and then just reads the script and turns it down.
I see. And are there any good actresses out there you see that could make it real big, like old movie stars? Deborah Winger, let's give an example, Miss Deborah Winger. To me, I find she is one of the finest actresses we have of the old movie stars, Kathleen Turner and Deborah Winger, at this time, for the youngers.
They're both good girls, I agree with you.
Do we have any other out there, of actors, of men actors? What do you think?
I don't go to see movies.
You don't go to see movies?
It's terrible.
How about
but
you,
I
Buddy?
don't.
I see most of my movies at home. Beverly, my wife, she loves to record them and
Right.
show me some of the beauties and some of the oldies and a lot of the new ones. And I belong to the Academy, and I vote on the best pictures. And so I do try to see as many movies as I can. I really do.
I see.
Yeah.
Getting back to Marilyn Monroe, what kind of a little girl was she? Because she was really a little girl, very misunderstood.
She was a sweet person. She was a darling, sweet person. And she was really always a little girl.
That's
She
what
was
I
a sexy
think.
little girl. but
Very
she
sexy,
was
yes.
she was a beautiful, young little girl.
Uh-huh.
Sad to see her go.
She lived with Shelley Winters. They shared a same
I
apartment.
never knew that.
You never knew that?
No.
It's
I
a-
was surprised to hear it even.
You were?
Yeah.
Because some people are saying that she would never live with Shelley Winters, and some are saying she have lived, you know.
I don't,
But you don't think?
I never knew of her living with Shelley Winters, and it's a strange combination for me. She was a naive young gal.
So what's going to happen to Hollywood?
let me
Two
ask-
gentlemen, I'm going to ask
Wait a
you.
minute, let's ask him some questions.
No.
Yeah, no, wait a minute,
Go
kid.
ahead. I want to know, I grew up here as a
How many
child
movies
actor.
did you make,
Oh, I
Skip?
made a lot as a child actor. My first was Song of the Open Road with Jane
Yes.
Powell.
I'll be done.
That's right. Tell me,
Jane Powell.
Jane Powell, that was my first film as a child actor on a
Okay.
step ladder, singing.
Connie did a show with her.
Yes, she did. She played the mother. I'm trying to think of the film.
What the
That's
hell was it?
exactly it. She played the mother. It was a wonderful film.
Probably 30 years ago.
Mother. What's happening with Hollywood now, you gentlemen? What do you think? I mean, they're trying to restore Hollywood. You know,
Well,
you're in that, you're helping a
And they
lot.
are, I'm helping, I'm doing it
Yes.
because Hollywood still retains a name, and a beautiful name, and people respect it around the world. Our films go around the world, and Hollywood was known as the glamour spot of the world.
Uh-huh.
Glamour capital of the world.
Yes, and we must keep it going, and we
have
are
to.
trying to. We should and we will.
Well, we don't have the glamour anymore. It's not Macombos or Cyril's out there, and there's LaRue's and all those wonderful restaurants. Now you only have Nikki Blair's and Spago's. I mean, that's not, Nikki Blair's is maybe, it's not that glamorous anymore. Go ahead, John. I really want to know.
I used to.
I mean, people used to go in dresses and tuxedos and going out.
Black tie.
Remember? Black
You
ties?
see, I was at Paramount, and we had all our contracts.
Right.
And our so-called stars, about 20 or 30 of us. MGM had 40 stars.
Right.
Warner Brothers had their 30. But we had once every 2 months a white tie party at the Biltmore.
Right.
And we would all go there. We knew each other, and I could cut in on Mary Pickford, Greta Garbo,
Anyone.
Dietrich, or anyone. We were a family. We were a small family and loved this family.
Well, if you're a small family of Greta Garbo, I gotta know. Tell me, I love her. She's so secretive. Tell me about her. I want to know.
It's a
about her.
secret.
Well, come on. Was she? What kind of woman, really, Greta Garbo?
I just met her once when I saw her at the dance. But she came to Pickford to see Mary, and she and Mary were very, not close friends,
Right.
but good friends. They respected each other. And they'd leave a party, and the two of them would go to another room and sit down and talk and enjoy each other and really communicate and really get together and really understand each other. She and Mary were very fond of each other. Didn't see a lot of each other, but they were good friends.
Joseph Cotton interviewed him with Patricia Medina right here.
Did you?
Loved them both. Think they're the most
Wonderful.
charmingest, wonderful people I have ever interviewed. They live in Palm Springs.
I know it.
Do you still see Joseph Cotton? Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me
I
about it.
brought Joe here, you know. I brought him
From radio days or?
from stage.
Uh-huh.
And I put him into the Orson Welles picture about
That's-
Thirst. What the heck? I can't even
It's the
think
one
of
he
the
was
name.
talking about.
What's the name of
I
it?
don't remember, but that was a
This
great...
is his life.
Yeah,
Doesn't-
but what's it? Isn't that crazy? Can't
Doesn't
think of
matter.
it. That started Joe,
That started Joe.
Yeah.
The audience out there will know about it.
and
but
he never stopped.
wonderful human being.
Wonderful
But
man.
the picture I loved most was
Wonderful
Jennifer
man.
Jones. Duel of the
Beautiful.
Sun. What a film. Why don't we do films like that today, gentlemen? Tell me, why isn't Hollywood inventive enough to make movies like that?
Maybe
Why?
we're too old now, Skip. Maybe we don't appreciate it.
No,
Maybe we
no,
don't- maybe
no. These
people
young
know more
kids
about
out
it.
there. Now, I like to go to a movie to fantasize. I don't want to sit there and be real and know what's out there. I'm walking into a theater and I've just experienced that outside with guns and everything. I want to relax.
No more
What?
Joe Skanks, no more David Selznicks, no more Zonics, no more
Exactly.
even Harry Cohen's.
So when
Even
we
Jack Warner made some great pictures.
We had studios, they made stars. They had them under contracts, they made stars. Maybe we should do that again. What do you think? They
I
should-
think it would be a great idea, because every studio had 30 or 40 people under contract.
Right.
And they kept them working, and they built them up. You know, the Lana Turner started as little extras.
Right.
And almost all of those girls.
Why don't someone out there, some bright young man out there, get that incentive and start something like that, a studio, and groom them and just make them stars? That's what you do.
I think the expenses today, when you read about a movie costing $30, $40 million,
Silly.
it's rather frightening.
Silly, yes. You don't have to spend that much money to make a movie. Am I correct, Joe? Or, John?
I think they're trying not to, but apparently it's costing that to make a show. My son is producing a show, television show.
Your son is
Michael,
in,
doing Spencer for Hire.
Right.
In Boston. And a show like that, a 1-hour show on television runs up around $1.5 million.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's,
It's such a gamble today, John, isn't it?
Yeah.
yes, it is. But what is Betty Rogers' book, movie of your life? Come on.
I don't think so.
Why? What do you mean you don't think so?
don't want to.
Betty
Why
Rogers?
not?
Betty Rogers, a book?
I want to just remember everything myself, remember these stories.
You do?
I don't think I have enough material for a book.
Come on.
I don't, John.
You know what I don't like? I don't like to see Betty Davis right now performing, John. And I mean, I just don't like her walking out on the set and performing the way she is carrying on. I think she should just pack it up and retire and forget about, like Dietrich, and just leave it alone. Why is she doing what she's doing? Tell me, I want to know why is she doing that. She should remember, people should remember Betty Davis as Betty Davis.
Skippy, she answered it for money.
For money? Oh, she did answer it? I don't think she needs money.
I think she needs money.
No. Oh, well. How much can...
Bob Hope needs money.
Bob Hope is different. Bob Hope is different. Bob is his attitude is different.
He's a beauty.
Yes, his attitude. But you don't see. Dietrich did the right thing by going to Paris, stayed her thing, retire. Remember, let the people remember you as what you were. Yeah. What do you think about
I'm
that?
married, now Lillian Gish, God bless her, and I love her.
She gave her a hard time on this film.
Yes.
The hard time.
But I'm saying Lillian has kept herself beautiful and clean and respectful and thoughtful and considerate all these years. And she's loved the motion picture industry, and she's beautiful.
She's a lovely lady.
She should have the Oscar, my Oscar.
She should. She should have got the Oscar. She really should have got the Oscar. What happened to Hollywood not giving the Oscar to this lovely lady at the end of her life or career or whatever? It's just, I cannot believe it. I know Cher was wonderful, but Cher could give it some other time.
Yeah.
You know, it's very unfair here sometimes in Hollywood. You know.
But I think one reason my Mary didn't carry on, and like Lillian,
Right.
Grace of pals, they grew up together. I heard Mary and Lillian at our house one day. The two of them were talking, and I don't know whether Mary said this or Lillian said this. You know, darling, I can't remember one moment of our life that we didn't know each other and love each other.
That's
And
wonderful.
so Mary played the little girl part, you know. She
Right.
played, when she was in her 30s, she played a little girl, 10, 12, 14, 15 years of age. And I really and truly think that Mary did not want to be seen growing up and growing older.
Of course, that's
which
the way to be.
Yes.
Betty Rogers, I'm looking at you, looking back over your whole life right now. You don't want to do a book, you don't want to do a life. Do you have any regrets at all in life?
No, God.
Would you do it the same way?
I wouldn't change anything. Oh, maybe an automobile or something, or marriage.
How about you?
No, I've had too
You've
fascinating
had
life.
what?
Too fascinating life to ever change it.
So you really enjoyed
with
your
it.
life. You're
Happy with
happy.
it.
That's why you look so good.
Yeah.
You look wonderful,
I feel
Betty
good.
Rogers. What is your secret? Looking so good. What
I
is
told
Betty
you,
Rogers'
two things,
day?
God and luck, that's all.
No, but what is Betty Rogers' day like when you get up in the morning? What time of the day?
Well, I do think about golf quite a bit, and that gets me up. Golf. I'd rather be a good golfer than
So you keep
Exactly.
busy.
Yes, sir.
That's the secret. Busy and happy.
That
Because you're
helps.
smiling. Is that right, John?
I wouldn't dream of retiring. I look forward to going to the office. I look forward to working all day.
You do.
Because you meet people.